The Great American Race Season 3. We have arrived in Daytona International Speedway for a brand new season of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode with a brand new team after a major falling out last season with Colleague Racing. We're now here in the 19 with JGR ready to kick off a new season and already getting out into practice. New changes this season with the calendar, the rosters as well. If you want to see that, you can watch last episode in the off-season video, but just getting up to speed in practice with the car, getting a comfortability, and it wasn't very hard here to do exactly that in Daytona. But there's a lot of things on the way this season that we're going to kind of touch bases on this episode. Colleague, what's the situation with them? They were fined $10 million in the offseason by NASCAR for sabotaging me in the playoffs last season. That is going to really make it interesting for them. They could not afford to run a third full-time car this season. They couldn't find sponsorship. They had a big sponsor on the way, if you guys remember, and it fell through after the news came out of sabotaging me in the playoffs. So the 31 car is no longer full-time, but they still have the 16 of Bowman full-time and the 10 of Gregson full-time, with the 31 now being a part-time driver, really, that just can bring funding to that team, as they are going to certainly face some new struggles. But we are at the top of the line. We are in Toyota now. We're at Joe Gibbs Racing. It's a heck of a season on the way in. It rolls through into Daytona 500 qualifying, where we actually tried an experimental setup. James Small, our new crew chief, getting creative with the setup, but it really wasn't going to matter here in Daytona. You're always going to qualify last, and that's exactly the situation we find ourselves in. We crossed the line and we go dead last here in the Daytona 500. Not exactly what you want to see. The number cards right here in this in the race are going to look a little bit weird, but you will see the new ones soon. Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch, his new team, Trackhouse 99 on the front row, but Elliott gets the Daytona 500 pole here now as you see the rest of the order, with a few notable names, of course, IndyCar drivers, Scott McLaughlin in the field, as well as Colton Herta, both of those guys in the field for Penske's little Project 91 spinoff, and same for Andretti with Herta. That's going to be an exciting thing to watch. But we have Truck Series, we have Xfinity Series action that we were involved in this weekend as well. I like to do the Daytona races, but now that we're in our third full-time season of Cup Series, we are basically, I think, limited to 5 races in each series, so we'll be sticking to those rules throughout this season. We'll be driving the number 1 Tricon Top Golf Toyota Tundra, whipped up by Koop Designs, actually a beautiful livery for the 5 races that were in the Truck Series this season as well. So here in Daytona, we've never had the greatest success when it comes to plate racing, but doing the trucks, doing the Xfinity Series this weekend is in reality, I would say a good opportunity for us to gain the experience that we need to just get a little bit better at these plate races. And as well, I like doing these trucks in Xfinity Series races early in the season to kind of get an idea of things I maybe messed up in the modding, because I could already see a few things that I had gotten screwed up with the paint schemes. But you can see 2 drivers here with Marco Andretti for the Andretti Truck Series team, and as well, they have 2 trucks this season, as they also have Daniel Hemrick. But stage 1, pretty simple, 18th place, but Daniel Hemrick really was the one that got the short end of the stick of the Colleague situation with myself and the sponsorship falling through after the sabotaging and NASCAR fining them. It was supposed to be Hemrick getting the big sponsor in the 31, and that fell through, and of course he lost his ride due to that unfortunate circumstance. So there he is right there now in his Andretti number 26. Now at this point, I would expect him to kind of become a bit of a truck regular, to be honest, at this point now. As you can see, rookie Lane Riggs here in 21st place. As well, we got Landon Huffman in the field in the Truck Series. Not a whole lot of drivers I'm really keeping an eye on in the Truck Series this season, but on the Xfinity side, there is a group of drivers we're really paying attention to this season, that there's going to be a kind of a story revolving around and seeing what they are capable of producing here throughout the season to give themselves an opportunity at a cup ride. Josh Bilicki won stage number 2. Tony Bradinger there at the bottom in 10th place there, getting the final stage point. And now the third and final stage here Friday night under the lights in Daytona behind Stuart Friesen, fellow Canadian actually now, as we were trying to work our way forward late in this race. But it was really challenging to move my way forward. I was not finding it very easy, to be completely honest here now, and you could see my struggles as we continue on in these closing now 5 laps of this race. Working briefly with Friesen, but I would actually get to his inside here. Coming to 3 to go. It's time to go. I would dive to the inside. 2 laps to go. Only up to P7 at this point. Now really just taking whatever I can find, going with whatever lane works. Matt Mills there in the 41 just in front of us. Shout out to Koop, who made all the number cards you're going to see, but as well made basically the majority of the Xfinity and Truck Series paint schemes that you see. There is a proper Tony Bradinger truck. You don't see it here in this episode, but you should see it next time. But final lap of this race, and we were still hovering around 9th place after we got hung on the outside there. Now coming to the checkered flag, it's Spencer Boyd leading the way as we exit turn 4 down this front straightaway, and it would sure enough be Spencer Boyd hanging on to win the Truck Series race here from Daytona. How about that? P9 for us. You know, not good, not bad either. We're here to win races, and we didn't quite do that. You see the finishing order. You can pause your screen because the trucks in Xfinity will be kind of quick here, kind of similar to last season, just all custom graphic made now as we come through into the Xfinity Series on Saturday. Ready to roll, and this is where the drivers, of course, that are trying to make the big step up into the Cup Series are trying to make their name known this season, as we will be driving the part-time 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series for the 5 races that we're allowed to. But the names we're really paying attention to this season are some of our JGR teammates as well. Jesse Love in the number 20, as well as William Sawalich in the number 81. 2 Joe Gibbs youngsters that have the potential to make it to the Cup Series next season. Another one, recent IRL Truck Series winner. Watch out for Rajah Caruth as well. He is actually in that Hendrick Motorsports stable, really trying to make an impact and hopefully for himself get into maybe the Hendrick stable going into next season. I can tell you already, Corey LaJoie, although it's his first season with Hendrick in the Cup Series, he's already on the hot seat. So it's going to be interesting to see if Caruth can impress enough to get an opportunity to get into the Cup Series next season. Early on in this race, P23 in stage at number 1, Harrison Burton there. Of course, moving down from the Cup Series into the Xfinity Series in that number 25. Another driver to watch out for, Connor Zilish for the brand new Trackhouse Xfinity Series team, and Ricky Senos Jr. of course moves down from the Cup Series and goes into Roush Fenway Kozlowski's Xfinity Series team. And one more driver maybe to pay attention to, Parker Retzlaff here, just in front of us for Richard Childress Racing in the number 2. I think he can do some good things as well behind the wheel. So there's a lot of drivers that we're really watching that are going to be kind of the new young crop coming up in the career mode, I think, going into this next season. Nick Sanchez, don't even write him off in 9th place here in Stage 2. Josh Williams won Stage 2 for Colleague Racing, as Connor Zilish there for Trackhouse ends at P2. We roll through into Stage 3 up on the outside, trying to move our way forward, following the RCR driver of Parker Retzlaff through 3 and 4, but we would eventually get connected with our rookie teammate here, William Sawalich, and now we'll try to push him forward in these closing laps of this race here. Now is Haley Deegan currently in the 98. She moves over to the 98 for Stuart Haas Racing. She is out in front right now, as we have to actually get a caution here coming to 5 laps to go. You see smoke pouring out of the back of a car in front of us, as I couldn't tell exactly who it was there, but Deegan's going to be leading going into what's going to be a late race restart at this point. So it's going to be interesting. Sheldon Creed, Carson Kvapel as well, up there into the top 5 as well. A new Xfinity driver here as we come through in these closing laps. And unfortunately, you know, the caution, the restart separated me from my teammate of William Sawalich, and Jesse Love. He was actually out early in this race. He was all the way in the back. Never had an opportunity really to do anything here as we come through now. 1 and 2 laps to go, trying to move my way forward. You see Stenhouse there on the outside. We continue. Nick Sanchez in the 31 right there for Jordan Anderson Racing. Like I said, watch out for him as well this season. Another young talent, Sheldon Creed. Maybe pay attention to him in the 18 here for this Joe Gibbs Racing team. But look at us making moves, coming to the final lap, learning a lot right here in these closing laps of this race. Colleague driver Josh Williams just in front. I refuse to help a colleague driver. We dive to the inside on this final lap, but I don't think we're going to have enough here. Down this bank straight away into turn number 3. Haley Deegan leads the way, looking for her first win in a NASCAR Series race as we come through 3 and 4 out of 4 for the final time, and I don't think we have enough. We have a run. The slipstream pulls us closer to the back of the Monster Energy number 98, but it's not enough. Haley Deegan wins in Daytona. How about that? P2 is all we are able to accomplish there, as you see the finishing order in the Xfinity Series. And yeah, I mean, the names, there's so many names to watch out for this season. That's going to be exciting to watch as you see the finishing order. But now it's time for the Great American Race. Sunday, Daytona 500. Let's go racing.
It's the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. We're coming off of an epic season where we saw Kyle Larson take home his second career title in Miami. But the big news this week isn't the defending champion, it's Denny Hamlin.
I'm excited to announce at a track that has meant so much to me that I will be retiring at the end of this season. I've had a great career, and I look forward to going for one more Daytona 500 win.
A great career for Denny. We're going to miss him on track next year.
Don't forget, guys, he owns his own team. Don't be surprised if he attempts this race next year if today doesn't go well.
Hey Gary, it's Coach Gibbs. Welcome to the team, and remember, work as a team, not just us, but all the Toyotas as well. Have a good race.
Yep, 10-4. Thanks, Coach.
All right, mate, let's get after it today. Keep the nose clean and keep in it.
You hear our radio conversation with our new team owner, Joe Gibbs, as well as our new crew chief sticking on the 19. That is James Small. The big news coming into this race, you heard it in the pre-show, Denny Hamlin announcing this is his final season in the NASCAR Cup Series full-time, and of course his final Daytona 500. He wanted to announce it at a track he's got a lot of history at, and he announced it there this weekend in Daytona. Now, as we are officially underway, Season 3 has kicked off, and immediately we're lined up behind the brand new team and driver Daniel Suarez here at the Meyershank Racing Team, a team, of course, known for their IndyCar Series team, as well as previously IMSA. They've now pulled out of the IMSA Racing Series, but they've launched a NASCAR Cup Series team instead. Brand new full-time driver for the third full-time Trackhouse machine, 97 WeatherTech outside there. That's Shane Van Gisbergen, and of course, he had success in all three series last season. He was able to get wins in trucks, Xfinity. He won an oval in the Cup Series, and that really kind of solidified himself as given that opportunity to come now full-time racing in the Cup Series as Trackhouse expands their program to 3 cars. They're not the only team that expanded in the offseason as well. RFK, Roush Fenway Keselowski, as we all know, have Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, but they've expanded to a 3rd car as well and have now brought on Justin Haley, a team that I think you really need to watch out for. Maybe 2 teams you need to watch out for this season. Stewart-Haas Racing, who's downsized to 2 cars. They remain with Josh Berry and Chase Briscoe. They are going to have more funding to really put in just 2 cars instead of course, spread it across 4. I think we could see a bit more pace out of those cars this season. Going into next season, I think they could really become a threat. And as well, Rick Ware Racing, which I'll explain a little bit later on here as we follow behind the new rookie Zane Smith, full-time in the 21 to the inside of the 31 colleague machine of this timeout. Matt DiBenedetto, who's going to run us right down to the double yellow line and basically force us to back out of it. What the is he doing, bro? I mean, I'm there.
I think that team might be out for you this year. Just be careful.
It almost looks like maybe Colleague is using their now part-time car, the car that took the biggest hit due to my, of course, accusations towards the team, as maybe a car to almost go against me on the racetrack as well, at least here in Daytona, as we're now going to be right on the back of this 31 of Matt DiBenedetto. It's going to be a changing car. There's going to be several drivers in it this season. Caution out early on, and it's the 54 tire blown. Ty Gibbs is going to be out early in the day. That's a Joe Gibbs car, a teammate we just lost on the circuit. Gibbs really got hot late last season, won 2 races now in his Cup Series career, and they both came, in those closing rounds of the season. I think he's going to have a heck of a year, hopefully alongside ourselves. Joe Gibbs Racing, obviously not off to a good start with the car already out of the Daytona 500. Everybody's going to be staying on the racetrack, though. No pit stops here, but Joe Gibbs Racing, it's going to be an interesting season. Hamlin, we know now, is retiring. We've got 3 young-ish drivers. Christopher Bell's not really that young anymore. By this time, he's like 30, but he's very talented. You got myself and Ty Gibbs both in our third seasons of our Cup Series career, and now we're going to have, a Joe Gibbs driver from the Xfinity program be, Jesse Love, Sheldon Creed, or William Sawalich now trying to fight to get into the number 11 of Hamlin's ride for next season. And next season, Joe Gibbs is going to be absolutely stacked with young talent, it looks like now. But this season, I think it's good. We have, 3 drivers, young talent, and then you kind of got Hamlin there to be the one with the experience to kind of keep everybody tame and under control. As speaking of Denny Hamlin, leads the way through 3 and 4 as he's going to exit turn 4. And there is potential, with him retiring, he's got his own team, 2311 Racing, with Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace once again this season. I mean, they very well could have, a third-time entry for Hamlin in a couple of races next season. I wouldn't be surprised, although he says this is his final full-time season in Daytona 500. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the Daytona 500 next season for his own team at 2311 Racing. Here in Stage 1, lap 11 of 15 so far. We haven't made a huge amount of ground. We're almost halfway through the grid from where we started, and we are still lined up behind that 21 of Zane Smith. Todd Gilliland into the 34. He retired, the former driver of the 34 retired in the offseason. Michael McDowell kind of quietly exited. He won a race last season, called it quits in the offseason, and now Todd Gilliland into that car. Bowman sideways there after he checked up on my nose, and he had to check up for Daniel Suarez. Fortunately, that didn't turn into anything but my former car, of course, in that 16 of Alex Bowman, as we continue to move our way forwards in these closing moments of stage number 1. Now behind Cup Series rookie of Austin Hill, a rookie class this season, of course, of a few drivers, and we got quite a few Smiths, but we got Austin Hill, got Chandler Smith in the 13 for Colleague Racing, as well. You got Zane Smith in the 21, Sammy Smith in the 27 full-time for Andretti, as well as Corey Heim in the 47 for JTG, which of course they've come to Toyota, and then Shane Van Gisbergen in that number 97 for Trackhouse Racing. So we've got an interesting rookie class for this season. Last season it was simple. It was Josh Berry versus Carson Hocevar. This season we've got a few more drivers added in. Not necessarily a stacked rookie class. I think next season's where you're going to see a stacked rookie class. Now, final lap of stage 1 as Kyle Busch out in front as we push the 34 of Gilliland down the front straightaway. And behind us, we got the Daytona 500 rookie of Colton Herta from IndyCar. Not really seeing much of the IndyCar guys making, statements yet. Herta having a decent run. Scott McLaughlin really not doing anything special yet. But Kyle Busch comes through to win stage number 1, all single file up front. Not necessarily what you want to see at Daytona, is single file all up in the top 10, but that's exactly what it was. Ryan Preece and his new team for Rick Ware Racing, top 20 there in the first stage. Hocevar as well in the top 20s. You see the stage 1 order. Bubba Wallace, 2 points in second place. RFK's Justin Haley in the 60 car in third, as everybody will come into the pit lane here, 4 tires, fill it up on fuel, get ready to go back racing. Now, last season's champion, Kyle Larson, what a season it was. He was able to win 3 races, 18 top 5s, and was able to pick up his second NASCAR Cup Series championship here. Now, can he get a third this season? Now, it was an interesting season for Larson. He had a lot of consistency. You see it with the top 5s, and now we'll touch on a few more drivers. All throughout the season, we're going to have those kind of graphics that you're going to see, kind of paying attention to drivers going through the season, basically, and kind of how their season's going. So I hope you guys like that graphic. Get used to seeing stuff like that, as well as we are now underway for the start of stage 2 here from the Daytona 500. Now right behind that 26 of Carson Hocevar, Kyle Busch leads the way. On the outside, it's Bubba Wallace. Now we're going to have to check up here. We got that 31 of Matt DiBenedetto on our outside as we head down this back straightaway. Lined up behind us is the Raptor machine of William Byron, as he's going to give us a nice shot down towards turn number 3. As I had to back out of it there, Matt DiBenedetto again trying to cut across my nose as Gilliland comes to the outside. My new teammate Christopher Bell all the way up on the outside, third lane, going backwards early on in stage 2. 1 caution for cause so far here as we come through to complete this first and opening lap of the second stage. You see the brand new Hendrick driver, the 48, Corey LaJoie, on the outside there in that black and red Hy-Vee machine, looking honestly very slick. I like that paint scheme quite a bit here. Now we're lined up behind the brand new Toyota driver of Corey Heim, as we get a big shove from the 31 there as we exit turn 2. Keselowski 3 wide in the middle. One of the drivers still looking for their first 500 win after so many years. Another one, stage 1 winner, Kyle Busch. This is now over 20 seasons of trying at this point in the career mode, and he leads stage 2 just like he won stage 1. That 99 looking very, very strong in his first race for that new Trackhouse team, of course, in his career. He's only driven for Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, Richard Childress Racing, but now is fourth in what I would expect to be his final team, Trackhouse Racing here, now running P7 on lap 4, 10 laps ago in stage 2. We've been just really following this 47 car through the field, and it's working so far. I mean, we continue to line up in the inside and go forward. Riley Herbster, now full-time in the 38 there for that Front Row Motorsports team. He was at Rick Ware Racing previously, and now full-time in the 38 car for this season as we continue to go forward. Ryan Blaney, another notable this season. I mean, he missed the majority of the regular season due to a concussion after he suffered a huge crash in the Coca-Cola 600, and now he's looking for redemption. Of course, missed the playoffs due to the injury, didn't win a race, and he would like to, of course, have a rebound season in that number 12. Now lined up behind Corey Heim as Kyle Busch continues to lead over Justin Haley. Those two have been up front all stage long so far, and we're about halfway through the stage at this point, and then we continue to really try and follow this 47 as we roll through 1 and 2. But as we come through down this back straightaway into turn 3, watch this right here. Once I get disconnected from the 47, he jumps up, and I fill the hole. I didn't really have enough time to just back out of it, so we just kind of find ourselves filling the gap. So he's jumped up to the top, and now we'll move into P3 and try to close in on the back of the 60 of Justin Haley for that second position. Lap 8 of 13 at this point. Only one driver out, unfortunately. It's our teammate of Ty Gibbs in that 54 Monster Energy machine. Busch goes to the top. I was trying to get to the right rear, couldn't quite get there, so we just have to stay put for now as we are coming through out of turn 2. Caution is going to fly late in stage 2. This is going to force a, I think, 2-lap dash on everybody, and it was similar to stage 1. We had a late stage restart there. Everybody's going to stay out again and get ready to go back racing. Looks like maybe Eric Jones bringing out the caution, but I can confirm he will remain in the race. Not the end of the day for him. SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, really hasn't gone anywhere yet, running in that 35th position. He's just kind of waiting around, kind of being patient right now, maybe letting that race come to him as we get ready to go back green here in stage 2. It's 2 laps to go in my mirror. Not exactly what I want to see. It's that 31 of Matt DiBenedetto there. That 31 car really doesn't seem to like us, to say the least. And that's going to be something, that outside of today, we're going to really have to pay attention to going forward here. Now, as you can see, I mean, that second lane just goes nowhere. Haley going backwards. That 31's trying to shove me out of the way, but now he's giving us such a big shove that it actually gives us an opportunity to the inside of Kyle Busch down the back straightaway. Zane Smith just behind that 31 and to the lead of the Daytona 500 we go. Now seeking our first 500 win now, but the 31's pushing us completely out of the way there into turn 3, and now Matt DiBenedetto to the inside with help from the 60 of Justin Haley as well. Chris Buescher, Ford's lined up behind him. Kyle Busch lined up behind me. He's going to give us a big push in that 99 machine. We lead the lap just barely. 1 lap to go in stage number 2. Wheel to wheel with DiBenedetto, who's going to continue to really lean on our door as we go down towards turn number 1. But now we're going to get connected with the 60 of Haley as we come through 1 and 2. To the lead, though, goes Matt DiBenedetto, but now I lose my help. I was trying to pull a draft from the 31. In the process, I basically hung myself out to dry, and the 60 goes to the outside with help from Buescher. I got help from the Busch Light machine of Ross Chastain as we come through 3 and 4 for the final time in stage number 2. Back to the inside of the 17. Can we get the 60 coming to the line? Look at the run we have, over 200 miles an hour as we exit 4 down the front straightaway. It's the part-time colleague driver of Matt DiBenedetto winning stage 2. The best full-time car will be the 60 of Justin Haley in that Castrol machine as we cross the stripe for a 3rd place result in stage number 2.
Okay, mate, good result there. 4 tires and gas here, and we'll try to keep it up front.
Yep, 10-4. Good stage, guys. We'll come in, get those 4 tires, get some feel. I think we're going to see Eric Jones actually remain on the racetrack here. because he just pitted after bringing that caution out. So we will wait and see in just a few moments. Last season, Chase Elliott, the most winning driver of anybody, 7 wins, 12 top 5s. He made it into the championship 4, but after dominating, the win column, came up short and ended up the worst of the final 4 drivers there. It's been a, unfortunate couple seasons for Elliott where, season 1 of this career mode, he was the regular season champion, was able to, bring that into the playoffs, have a strong run, and then fall short and actually not make the final 4 in season 1. And season 2, he resorted to not consistency, but winning races, and it worked. It got him to the final 4, but he came up short of a championship after just having a really poor performance in Homestead, Miami. Now, of course, this season, if you guys watched last episode, the championship finale no longer at Miami. It's now at Las Vegas. It's going to rotate as seasons go on, but it's always going to be at mile-and-a-half tracks because that's just simply the best racing for a championship in this game. So yeah, this season is Vegas. Next season, I have an idea in place, and it might very well be Charlotte Motor Speedway here now, but Stage 3 underway here from this Daytona 500. It's been a heck of a day so far. It's been a heck of a weekend now. Truck Series, Xfinity Series action, and now, of course, the most important race of all, the Daytona 500. Matt DiBenedetto gets down in front of us as we cross the stripe. Eric Jones leading the way for Legacy Motor Club. I expect to see good things from that team this season now, as DiBenedetto gonna force us again to back out of it into turn 1. What an idiot, man. He's trying to get us all wrecked up here. You hear us on the radio again now. Help from Chastain. He's really been pushing us lately here at towards the end of Stage 2 into Stage 3, but there's not much we can do about the 31. We just got to deal with it, and we would get right to the back of him again. We'll take him run to the outside, trying to really find a way to maybe shuffle him out, get him to the back, but at least get in front of him again. And we have help from the 43. The slipstream will take us into second place. We'll chop the nose of the 31, just barely get clear. Back into P2 here in the 500 now, looking for the lead as we exit turn number 2, lap 38. Down this back straightaway, up the inside we go here, side by side. Not a lot of organization behind us, quite a bit spread out actually. But the 31 is going to go with me and give us a big shot to the bumper through 3 and 4 to the lead again of the Daytona 500 as we approach these closing 10 laps of this race now, but we actually get pushed out to the inside, and there goes the 31 to the outside again, and he's going to push us onto the apron even as we cross the stripe, wheel to wheel, side by side. Major contact with the 31 as we go down into towards turn number 1, and we're going to back out of it as that's just the safest option here. This Colt Lake Racing team is out for blood, and we're going to give it right back. If it wasn't Daytona, they are very lucky right now, but here we go with a big power move to the inside of the 31, trying to find a way to shuffle him out. That's going to be, our best bet, our best option, and it works. We get past him with a huge run, and he gets shuffled to the outside. Here comes Chastain and Todd Gilliland as well, so that will do us big favors now. Chastain and Gilliland closing the 34 to the inside of the one for the front row motorsports team with 11 to go. Now we can really focus in on our race. Chastain to my inside, or to my outside, sorry, into towards turn number 1. Crash in the back. Noah Gragson around in front of traffic in towards turn number 1. Nobody else is really going to get involved, but the caution will fly here in Stage 3. Chastain had actually just got a nose in front of me going into the timing of the caution. So we're P2 as we're going to take only half a can of fuel and no tires, and we'll restart P2 with DiBenedetto, unfortunately, lining up behind me. But we are now going to go and get amplified here for stage number 3. Let's get amped.
Let's go. Got one inside. Careful, still there.
Car's good, I just can't find track position, man. It's hard to go forward.
I don't have confidence in the car to make any moves right now. I need it tighter.
All right, you're clear.
And there you have Amped. It's back. We got a couple creative things on the way this season like that you'll see as the season goes. DiBenedetto behind with 7 laps to go into towards turn number 1. We've seen him on our bumper previously shove us out of the way, and he's done it again. DiBenedetto moves us up the track and bringing Kyle Busch back to the front with him. Fortunately, we have a big gap actually, so this allows us to only drop down to third place, so we'll be okay. Chastain briefly tried to help, but he was falling back on the top, so it was now the 34 of Gilliland who's been able to remain up front here in towards the top 5, as we are now on the back of that Jockey 99 machine. Kyle Busch in the All-American paint scheme trying to win the Great American Race, but I want to, be the upset here. I want to put a Canadian in victory lane. That's the goal. Will we be able to do it? I mean, only time will tell. We pushed the 99 to the inside of the 31 of DiBenedetto, and this is perfect because this is really going to shuffle him back now. Gilliland banks off my bumper there as I lift off the bank of the 99, but DiBenedetto has no option to get down, so we just need to hope it stays green and he can't line up behind us if another caution comes out as we continue on. Now, with 5 to go, trying to get to the inside of Busch. He throws a block there, an aggressive move as he's trying to get his first 500 there. That nearly led to an accident, but he's all right down the back straightaway. Another big run to the inside of the 99. I mean, I want to see Kyle Busch win the 500 just as bad as many do, but I want to win it more myself, as we now are going to bring the 34 of Gilliland in, a bunch of Fords. Ryan Newman in the 51 for Rick Ware Racing has been quiet all weekend, part-time driver for that team, looking for redemption in Daytona now, but as well, I believe that's Chris Buescher lined up behind him. No, that's Austin Cindric, sorry, in the 2 lined up behind him, coming to the final 3 laps of this race now, throwing a block on the 34. Here comes the 2 of Austin Cindric, will jump down in front of him. A big run there. Newman pushing the 34 of Gilliland out to the front here in the 500. Now a push coming from the 2 of Cindric as we approach turn number 3. It'll be 3 to go when we hit the stripe. A lot of Fords up here in the mix now. We'll get right up on the door of the 34 as we roll through 3 and 4, jumping down to the inside. We're briefly out in front here now as there's a crash in the back and the caution is out, and it's good timing because the 34 was about to take the lead and we would have been lining up on the outside of the front row for what will be NASCAR overtime in the Daytona 500. We'll get a replay here of what happened in just a second. It looks like John Hunter Nemechek bringing out the caution there. He is pitting, and watch the inside here. This is exactly what happened. Nemechek, tire blows out, takes out Corey Heim in the 17 as well. A big impact there for Chris Buescher, a Final Four appearance driver last season, as now it's time for NASCAR overtime. We're ready to roll for, well, a 2-lap sprint. What can we do? Gilliland on the outside, the green flag is out. I don't like my odds. We're surrounded by Fords here now, but we are 2 laps extra racing here from this Daytona 500. Austin Cindric lined up just behind the Daytona champ from 2022, of course, when we debuted the next-gen car here in the NASCAR Cup Series. Todd Gilliland looking for victory now in that number 34. Michael McDowell in that 34 won the 2021 Daytona 500. Can he, of course, watch that 34 go back to victory lane, this time from home at the couch for McDowell in retirement as we head down this back straightaway. We pull out in front of both lanes right now. They're side by side in a deadlock. Haley as well, third in line on the inside. Newman second in line on the outside, as it's all Fords in a rear view mirror. It's only us for Toyota up in the mix. None of our teammates around. I see a Camaro in the background. That's Chandler Smith, one of the rookies. We cover both lanes coming to the final lap. The 34 had a run. The 2 had a run just after we blocked that 34. That's perfect. As long as we can kind of block one run at a time, we're going to be in good shape. Down into turn 1, they're dead even behind us here now. Both of them kind of have a run. Who we're going to block? I'm going to stick with the 2. The 34 gets to our right rear. The 2 car, we're going to have to rely on him to push us down this bank straightaway. This inside's worked for us all race. Will it work on the final lap? Here comes a shove, maybe from the 2. Gilliland is clear. Is he going to jump down on this back straightaway? The 2 actually drops off as we go down into turn number 3, and now that we're so close to the 51, it's going to make it hard for him to stay connected to our rear bumper, and there you see it right there. Out of turn 4, it's not going to be enough. Todd Gilliland down the front straightaway is going to hang on and win the Daytona 500 here for Front Row Motorsports. What a day for Todd Gilliland, and he is now a Daytona 500 champion as we come up just short, second place, runner-up. What could have been, and now I should have blocked the 34. The inside worked like literally every time, and then literally the final lap, of course, it doesn't. But honestly, I had a feeling if I blocked the 34, it was kind of like the 2 car had a run coming. I felt like if I jumped up, the 2 car could have got down before I would have gotten down without a bunch of contact. but I probably should have just went for it. It is the Daytona 500. You see the finishing orders there. Yeah, I mean, Todd Gilliland is in the playoffs for Front Row Motorsports. Last season, we saw McDowell win in that car, make the playoffs, so it's going to be exciting to see, you know, do they have more speed this season? Are they a more legitimate threat as well? But that's it. The 500 is over. Season 3 is here and underway. Big shout out to the career mode painters as well. You see them all listed on the screen there. This series really wouldn't be possible without them. They also help with developing the storylines that we're really going to start diving into starting next episode. But that's it. Season 3 is underway, and I'll see you guys from Sonoma Raceway for round 2 next episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys are ready for this run in Season 3. Have a great day.